Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest stories. I never expected that a simple favor from my neighbor would turn into a night I'd never forget. But then again, life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. It was a warm, humid evening in mid-July when I heard the knock at my front door. I had just finished cleaning up after dinner, the scent of garlic and herbs still lingering in the air. My home was quiet, save for the distant hum of cicadas outside and the faint sound of a late-night talk show on the television in the living room. I wasn't expecting visitors, so when I opened the door, I was met with a bit of a surprise. There stood Tyler, my neighbor's son, a tall, broad-shouldered young man of 24, his dark hair slightly damp from the summer heat. I'd known him since he was a teenager, always polite, always with an easy smile. But now, standing in the soft glow of my porch light, he looked different somehow. "Hey, Mrs. Callahan," he said, his deep voice carrying an edge of hesitation. "Sorry to bother you this late, but I was wondering if you could give me a ride." I wiped my hands on the dish towel I was still holding. A ride? Where to? Just across town. My car broke down, and my mom's already asleep. I'd call a cab, but he scratched the back of his neck, looking sheepish. I left my wallet at home. I hesitated for a moment. It was late, and I was in my comfortable night clothes, just an old t-shirt and some loose pajama pants. But I'd always had a soft spot for Tyler. He was a good kid, responsible and kind. I sighed, shaking my head with a small smile. "Give me 5 minutes to change." He grinned. "Thanks, Mrs. C. I really appreciate it." 15 minutes later, we were on the road. The small town where we lived was quiet at this hour, the streetlights casting long shadows on the pavement. The air conditioner in my car struggled against the summer heat, and the faint scent of my lavender air freshener filled the cabin. "So, what happened to your car?" I asked, glancing at him as I drove. Tyler exhaled, shaking his head. "Battery's dead. I think I left my headlights on too long." I chuckled. "That's an expensive mistake." "Tell me about it," he said with a groan. The radio played softly in the background, a slow bluesy tune that matched the quiet intimacy of the moment. For a while, neither of us spoke. It was strange. There was a weight in the air, something unspoken hanging between us. I wasn't sure what it was, but I felt it. Eventually, Tyler broke the silence. "You ever just think about how fast time flies?" I glanced at him. "All the time." "I mean, I swear I was just in high school last year," he said, looking out the window. "Now I'm trying to figure out my life, and I feel like I'm already behind." I nodded, understanding all too well. Life has a way of making us feel like we're running out of time, no matter how young or old we are. He turned his head toward me then, his gaze lingering a little too long. "You ever feel that way?" I swallowed. There was something in his voice, an earnestness, a quiet yearning, that made my heart beat a little faster. "All the time," I admitted. The conversation took a turn I hadn't expected. We talked about life, about dreams left behind, about the things we wished we'd done differently. I told him about my youth, about the risks I hadn't taken, about the love I had lost and the chances I had let slip through my fingers. Somewhere along the way, I realized Tyler wasn't just talking about himself. He was talking about me, about us, about something that had been quietly growing between us in the stillness of the night. By the time we reached his destination, a dimly lit apartment complex on the outskirts of town, the air between us was thick with something neither of us wanted to name. He hesitated before opening the door. "Mrs. C." "Aye, Tyler." My voice was soft, but firm. He exhaled, shaking his head. Never mind. But as he stepped out of the car, he hesitated. He turned back, his eyes searching mine, and for a moment the world around us faded away. And then, just like that, he was gone, disappearing into the night. I barely slept that night. My mind replayed the drive, the conversation, the way Tyler had looked at me, like he saw something more in me than just his neighbor. I told myself I was imagining it, that I was reading too much into a simple moment. But deep down, I knew better. Morning came, and with it, an uneasy restlessness. I moved through my routine on autopilot. Coffee, a morning walk, watering my plants. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. I wasn't expecting to see Tyler again so soon. It was just past noon when there was another knock at my door. My breath caught in my throat. I hesitated before opening it, my hand hovering over the knob for a fraction of a second too long. And there he was. He looked different in the daylight. The warm afternoon sun cast a soft glow on his tanned skin, making the sharp angles of his jawline more pronounced. His dark hair was still a little messy, and his gray t-shirt clung to his broad frame in a way I hadn't really noticed before. "Hey," he said, his voice a little rough, like he'd been thinking about this visit as much as I had. "Hey," I replied, keeping my tone neutral. There was a pause. Too long, too weighted. I finally broke it. "Everything okay?" He let out a breath, shifting his weight. "Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for last night." I folded my arms, leaning against the doorframe. "You already thanked me." "I know, but I wanted to do it properly." He lifted a small brown paper bag and held it out to me. "It's from that little cafe on Main. I remembered you liked their pastries." That caught me off guard. I took the bag, my fingers brushing against his, and for a brief second, that same tension from the night before sparked again. "You didn't have to do that," I said, softer this time. "I wanted to." I stepped aside. "Come in?" He hesitated for only a second before nodding. We sat in my kitchen, the scent of fresh coffee and buttery pastries filling the air. He sipped at his drink, his fingers tracing the rim of the cup absently. "You seemed different last night," I said finally. Tyler glanced up at me, his expression unreadable. "What do you mean?" I sighed, searching for the right words. "I don't know. Just quieter. More serious than usual." He ran a hand through his hair. "I guess I was just thinking a lot." "About what?" He hesitated. Then finally he looked me in the eye. "About you." My stomach dipped. "Tyler." "I know this is probably crazy," he said quickly, leaning forward slightly, his hands clasped together. "And I don't want to make you uncomfortable. But last night, something felt different, didn't it?" I swallowed, gripping my coffee cup a little tighter. I could lie. I could brush it off. But we both knew the truth. "Yes," I admitted, barely above a whisper. A slow exhale left his lips, like he'd been holding his breath. "I don't know when it started," he murmured. "Maybe it's always been there, and I just didn't realize it until now." My heart pounded against my ribs. This wasn't supposed to happen. I was 28 years older than him. I had known him since he was a teenager. But last night, and even now, it wasn't a kid sitting in front of me. It was a man. A man who was looking at me like I was something he had wanted for a long time. I should have stopped it. Should have put an end to whatever this was before it could go any further. But then he reached across the table, his fingers brushing against mine, lingering there, waiting. And for the first time in a long time, I let myself wonder, what if I didn't walk away? I should have pulled my hand away. I should have laughed it off, turned the moment into a joke, or gently reminded Tyler that I was his neighbor, that this was ridiculous. But I didn't. Instead, I let the silence stretch between us, my fingers still beneath his, the warmth of his touch seeping into my skin. My heart pounded, the air in my kitchen suddenly feeling too thick, too charged. Tyler didn't move, didn't push. He just watched me, waiting. His eyes, deep brown, filled with something I couldn't quite name, held mine, unshaken. Finally, I exhaled, pulling my hand back, breaking whatever had just passed between us. "Tyler," I said, my voice softer than I intended. I struggled to find the right words. "Unexpected. He finished for me." I let out a breathless laugh. "That's one way to put it." He leaned back, rubbing the back of his neck, a small, almost nervous smile playing at the corner of his lips. "I didn't plan this. I swear. But last night, being with you, talking to you, I realized something. I waited." He hesitated, then spoke, his voice low, measured. "I've never met anyone like you." A small, sharp pang went through me. "Tyler, I'm 52. He tilted his head, lips quirking up. And you're a grown man," he interrupted, holding my gaze. "I know what I'm feeling. I'm not confused." I pressed my palms against the table, trying to steady myself. This isn't about confusion. It's about reality. "You're what?" he asked gently. "Too young? Does it really matter?" I swallowed hard. Maybe it should. He studied me for a long moment. "Is that what you really think? Or is that just what you think you're supposed to say?" That hit somewhere deep. I opened my mouth, then closed it again. I had spent years telling myself what was appropriate, what was right. I had been careful, cautious. But the way Tyler looked at me, the way he made me feel seen, noticed, was something I hadn't experienced in a long time. "Tyler," I sighed, shaking my head. "This isn't simple." He smiled, and there was something both boyish and undeniably confident in it. "I don't mind complicated." A laugh escaped me, unexpected and light. "Of course you don't." His grin widened. "I'm serious. I don't know where this goes. I don't know what it means. But I do know that I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. And I don't want to pretend like last night it didn't happen. Neither did I." I stood up, needing space, needing to clear my head. I walked over to the sink, gripping the edge of the counter. I could feel him behind me, close but not too close. "If we do this," I whispered, "we can't undo it." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then, his voice, calm, steady. "I know." I turned around slowly, facing him, letting the truth settle between us. This wasn't a decision I could make lightly. But for the first time in a long time, I didn't want to say no. I should have said no. I should have walked Tyler to the door, thanked him for the pastries, and sent him on his way. I should have ignored the way my heart raced when he looked at me like I was something more than just his neighbor, more than just a woman who had lived a life before he was even born. But I didn't. That night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, I kept thinking about the way he had looked at me. Steady, certain. He wasn't a boy. He wasn't unsure. He knew exactly what he was feeling. The question